In this world, there's a lot that we tend to take for granted. On the large scale, many of us say that two things in life are certain: death and taxes. Both are inevitable and, for better or for worse, reliable. On the more local level, we accept that plants grow, birds fly, and the sun rises, as they did yesterday and as they will tomorrow. We all have certain assumptions made about our lives, brought on by years of reinforcement. And after all, humans are logical, pattern-driven creatures. We see the same things day after day, and we become used to them. We begin to rely on them. Now, I'm no psychologist, but I believe that this is why children tend to have so much more wonder and joy than adults. They haven't seen the same thing 1,000 times. A simple red flower illuminated in the light of the rising sun is brand new to them. It's special. But as we grow up, many of us tend to lose that sense of childlike wonder, replaced by responsibilities, burdens, and experiences. In short, the world becomes a bit less colorful. I invite you to take this flower as a metaphor, and think for a moment about an experience in your own life. A time you felt taken for granted. A time where the color and the beauty that you put forth into the world seemed to be ignored. A time where you were passed over by those who had become complacent to the light that shines within you. Take a moment to remember how that felt. How painful it could be to spend every moment as radiant as you can be, only to be neglected by those who refuse to see it. I would bet that nearly everyone in this world has had an experience like that. I know I have. So what do we do in those moments? Well, I'd guess for everybody that the answer is a bit different. Personally, I tend to retreat into myself. I wither away in the shadows cast by the indifference of others. It's hard to keep going when the world seems not to care. It's much easier to assimilate into the role that is expected of us. And perhaps even easier, we begin to see the rest of the world that way, as dim, monochromatic echoes of beauty that's long since been suppressed. Today, of all days, is a day of renewal, of rebirth, the celebration of the greatest triumph of life over death, the day when the internal struggle between light and dark becomes external, when life returns to the world once more, and with it, hope. While this is a Christian holiday, and I am writing this as a Christian, this day does not just belong to one man, but to all. Anyone who has ever felt fear as the road darkens, anyone who has ever felt alone, powerless, or abandoned as the world turns. Today is for all of us to celebrate a new beginning, a new chapter, to remember that even in the face of death, life springs anew. All of us, no matter how small, are loved by God, by our families, by our friends, and our pets, and even by those who are no longer at our side. For each of us, there are some seemingly mundane events in life that remind us of those we've lost. In my family specifically, it's the sight of a hummingbird. To me, this humble creature represents not one but two amazing women who are no longer with us. Women for whom Easter was such a joyous occasion, and without whom the holiday feels a bit emptier. They are still with us, as a joyful memory carried by a small, unassuming creature, but with great beauty and even greater potential. To this day, every time one of these birds graces us with its presence, it's a reminder from beyond the grave. A reminder to those who feel that we were left behind, that we are not, in fact, alone, and that the Spirit carries on. So, if it's so easy for us to accept that a simple hummingbird can bring so much joy and emotion, then why are we so reluctant to see that capability in ourselves? As humans, why can many of us not see the light that we bring to the world? I've struggled with that question for a very long time. Perhaps that struggle will continue for years or even decades to come. It's so easy to listen to the voices that tear us down, the ones who say we're not good enough, and yet it's so hard to listen to the ones who say the opposite, who tell us that we're doing just fine, or that we're loved, or that we inspire others, whatever trait may feel the most lacking in your own soul. And while I may not have figured out the answer to this question yet, I realized it doesn't have to hold me back anymore. Just because we may not feel needed at times, just because we may feel taken for granted, doesn't mean that we are unremarkable. In fact, we each have infinitely more potential than we could ever understand. But maybe the biggest realization we can have is this: it's not our burden to convince others to see our worth. All we have to do is make sure it's there. The rest is out of our hands. Instead of trying and failing over and over to find ways to make our light visible to others who can't see it, instead, we must first focus on the ability to see it within ourselves. Only then can we finally find peace. To bring this full circle, I find it interesting that we all say that death is one of the only certainties in life. We don't say that life itself is a certainty. It's a bit sad when you think about it. Everybody is born and everybody dies, but not everybody lives. Not all of us experience what it means to be alive. But we choose not to. We choose to hang our heads, accept the pain, the fear, the monotony. We choose to overlook the beauty of nature that is all around us and within us. But it's never too late to change that. I invite you all to join me in acknowledging the beauty of the world, both around and within us. Gratitude and love are as simple as a flower, yet as grand as a mountainside and as powerful as a raging fire. If we all take a moment to share these emotions with each other and with ourselves, we may finally begin to see the world for the paradise that it truly is. Happy Easter.